Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Friday, June 25th, 2021. I'm your host, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is Tim fucking Gettys.
Happy Fast 9 Day, everybody. It's
Happy
finally here.
F9 day.
You can go out and watch this movie in theaters with your friends and family.
Tim, you've seen F9. How do you feel now that you've seen it?
I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy that the movie was real, that it would happen. It finally came out. I can't wait to talk about it on a review that we're recording later today. It's
What's
going to
your
be a good
favorite? What's
time.
your favorite non-spoiler moment from the movie?
Honestly, the entire fucking thing. It was just so fucking enjoyable for what it is. They know what they're doing, and they do it very well.
Of course, they do it extremely well. But Tim, of course, you're going to talk about F9, the Fast Saga, on in review. But this is KFG. So let's talk about an Insomniac multiplayer game, abandons PS5 app getting delayed, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/Kind of Funny Games. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. To be a part of the show, to patreon.com/Kinda Funny Games, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free with the exclusive daily post show. Tim, let me tell you, I respect Greg Miller so much when he
Oh,
hosts
definitely.
shows,
Mhm.
because we went out to watch Fast last night, and I was up hanging out with y'all until like 2 a.m. and I'm trying my hardest to muster up the energy,
Bless,
and
I'm right
like
there with you.
it's
We're going
so
to nail it
difficult.
today. It's going to be a great kind of funny games daily.
Oh
Me and
yeah.
you, we're feeling 10 out of 10. Ain't that right, Bless?
That's exactly right. And we got a long day, a long good day ahead of us, because right after this, we're going to be doing the Mario Golf stream. That's right. That's happening live on twitch.tv/Kind of Funny Games, and going up later on youtube.com/Kind of Funny Plays. It's going to be me. It's going to be Greg. It's going to be Andy. It's going to be Mike. And will Andy be able to stand up to Greg in Mario Golf? You'll have to tune in to find out. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Donovan Harkness and Blackjack. Today, we're brought to you by DoorDash, Canva, and Final Fantasy. But I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 5 stories today.
Baker's dozen.
That was fantastic, Kevin. Starting with our number one, Insomniac is working on a mystery multiplayer project. I'm pulling from Emma Kent at Eurogamer. Insomniac Games has largely focused on single-player titles over the last few years, producing big hits Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and Marvel Spider-Man for the PlayStation. But it seems the studio has plans to work on a multiplayer project, although exactly what this could be is anyone's guess. A job advert posted by Insomniac on Twitter mentions the developer has, quote, 5 new job openings for a multiplayer project, end quote. Insomniac is looking for a creative director, systems designer, story lead, art director, and VFX artist. That doesn't give much away, but the systems designer job description does mention having a thorough understanding of melee combat systems, enemy design, and boss design would be useful experience. The designer would help develop combat, navigation, progression, and economy for a multiplayer environment. Make of that what you will. Naturally, this has provoked a fair bit of speculation on social media. Could this be a standalone game or a multiplayer mode for a predominantly single player game? Some are hoping for a revival of sci fi shooter Resistance, while others think it
Hmm.
could be a co op for a future Spider Man title. Given Insomniac has just released Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, it could be quite some time before we hear the actual answer. Tim, what is your take? Of course, Insomniac, known for Ratchet, known for Spider-Man, they've done Resistance in the past. When you hear that Insomniac is working on a new multiplayer title, where does your brain take you?
So here's the thing. They're known for Spider-Man. They're known for Ratchet. They're known for extremely, extremely high quality video games, specifically high quality single player video games. I have nothing but faith in the Insomniac teams at this point. Anything they put out, I'm ready to play it. I'm excited to play it because I expect quality and they're going to deliver. That's just what they've been doing recently. This news could not do less for me. I don't
Mhm.
care about multiplayer stuff that way. That's not what I want from Insomniac. Whether it's a standalone game or a multiplayer mode, I'm going to hope it's a standalone game. I really like the trend that we've been seeing of games kind of focusing on what they're trying to do, whether it's single player or multiplayer. Make them separate experiences. We don't need to just jam pack content for content's sake into every video game. And I think Insomniac kind of knows what they're doing. So it's like this could be interesting, especially when you look at PlayStation Studios lineup, where multiplayer isn't really their forte, right? Like that's
Yeah.
not something that we get much of from them. We've got a couple examples of multiplayer modes in some of the higher profile games, like from Naughty Dog, etc. But
Mhm.
this could be interesting. There definitely could be something there, and if any of the teams could make it fun, I think Insomniac definitely are up there and up for the challenge. But yeah, this isn't necessarily something that I'm excited for.
Yeah, this is something that I'm a bit excited for and very curious about because I think this could be, like the article mentions, it could be a number of things. Resistance is probably the one where makes sense, but also doesn't make sense from a who is asking for resistance aside from the hardcore PlayStation audience and folks that fucked with resistance back in the day. Like as Insomniac, right now in your pocket, you have Spider-Man, you have Ratchet and Clank, you even have Sunset Overdrive, which would probably be ahead in line over something like Resistance. I think you make the good point of wanting it to be something that's standalone instead of a mode. I think that's when a lot of these type of games shine, especially when you're talking about the first party PlayStation stuff. Ghost of Tsushima Legends, right, came out as a mode for Ghost of Tsushima, but I wonder like what that would have done if it was something standalone. I wonder if that
Yeah.
would have gotten way more people in because that's something that I absolutely loved, Ghost of Tsushima Legends, but I feel like not enough people got into it and played. And releasing that separately could have done a lot for it. I like it, especially when we think about what it could possibly be, because Spider-Man could make sense. You know, you got Peter Parker, you got Miles Morales, you can add in way more spider characters into that game, and you can have maybe a multiplayer iteration of that. I wouldn't want that to be a part of a core Spider-Man game. I want Spider-Man 2 to be a single player game that is focused on being Spider-Man 2. And then if they do a spin-off game like how they have Miles Morales, right? Like if they have one of those that is
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man co-op or a Spider-Verse game, right?
Yeah.
That could be an amazing, amazing standalone title that could work in co-op and be this awesome thing.
Yeah, no, I mean honestly, that could be cool, and yeah, multiplayer could just mean co-op, and that is a way to look at it where it doesn't necessarily need to be PvP. And
Mhm.
even with that, them talking about thorough understanding of melee combat systems, enemy design, and boss design, it's like, oh, you know what? That could be describing a multiplayer Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
Which again, I'd be more interested in that than Resistance, but I would be more interested in just Spider-Man 2, not
Oh
having
yeah.
that stuff. But what's interesting to think about Insomniac and the PlayStation ecosystem is when you look at the Game Pass side with Xbox, like there is that built-in audience, there is that barrier to entry that has been removed for multiplayer games that I think is going to make a lot of these games thrive, like the Knockout Cities of the world, the Outriders of the world. Like they have this like new chance at really getting an audience, really getting people to talk about it and live in it, which is what multiplayer games need. And on the PlayStation side, they don't really have that luxury. So, especially from PlayStation Studios, what are they going to do? We've seen it with like Destruction All Stars, where they put it out on PS Plus, and that
Mhm.
is a huge boon for them. Where like that could work out, could get that audience that they would need for this. I don't necessarily see Insomniac doing that if this was a standalone project, but Insomniac are the same team that last gen PS4
Yeah.
put out Ratchet and Clank for $40, the remake of the first game. And like that was crazy. Now we're seeing $40 titles it's a little more common,
Mhm.
but that was a big deal then because that was really breaking the barrier between the $60 MSRP and the more budget titles of indie games and DLC and stuff that was like $20, right? But that $40 level was really kind of broken through by Insomniac with Ratchet.
Yeah. PlayStation isn't afraid to fuck around with their pricing structure a bit, as we've seen, right? Like we've seen games go up to $70, but we've also seen the games come out at $50, $40. We've seen your Uncharted Lost Legacies, we've seen your Spider-Man Miles Morales mess around with, hey, a complete game doesn't necessarily have to be a full price game, right? Like we can release games that are quality products that are going to speak to people, that are going to work, and they don't have to be $70. And especially now going into this next generation where value is becoming more and more of a conversation. Like it feels like exponentially by the day when we have things like Xbox Game Pass and we have things like video games becoming more expensive. It could be an amazing move for them to be like, hey, this is a PS Plus title in the way that we released or we had higher profile PS Plus games like Bugsnax, like Destruction All Stars. We've had games that we would have treated as premium titles come out on PS Plus, and that could be an avenue for them. Or maybe the avenue is, okay, cool. The multiplayer games that we're going to produce as PlayStation are going to be lower cost. They are going to cost $40 or $30 or $20, because our goal here is to maintain a player base and maybe even make money off of microtransactions. Like, I would be shocked if The Last of Us Factions multiplayer standalone game is $70. I would be absolutely shocked if that was the case. And I think PlayStation knows that. I think they understand that. And I think I think there is a shift going on where PlayStation identifies where their blind spots are in terms of what their first party lineup looks like. We love PlayStation for the single player narrative action games that they've put out, right? Like, we love the Spider-Man, we love God of Wars, we love the traditional Naughty Dog games and all those things. But when competition is diversifying and finding ways to fill in certain gaps, and even like taking away certain genres that they had before, right? Like, Microsoft acquiring Bethesda is leaving sort of a gap there in terms of, all right, what does
Western RPGs?
yeah, what does the Western RPG output look like for PlayStation? What does the first person shooter output look like for PlayStation? PlayStation is aware of that, and you're seeing partnerships happen, right? You're seeing them partner up with Deviation Studios, which was announced at Summer Games Fest kickoff. You're seeing them announce partnerships with Jade Raymond and Firewalk Studios, right? Which Firewalk, I believe, has said they are working on a new multiplayer IP for PlayStation. I think they identify that, and they're trying to go after that in a strong way. And how that ends up panning out for them, I'm interested to see. But I would be shocked if those games end up being full priced. I think they know what they got to do in order to make those games feel marketable to people, and that has to come with value. That has to come with the main idea being, we're trying to build a community, we're trying to build a player base for these games, and we're trying to establish our own community multiplayer based games.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to this though. Like, yesterday, there was a news story where Greg and I believe Damon were talking about Ghost of Tsushima and how there's a rumored standalone expansion type of game coming out later for that. And I love the idea of PlayStation finding multiple iterations on the same IP but doing them in different ways, right? Like, we've seen that happen before. Infamous First Light, is an example of, like, yeah, that's more Infamous, but it's more Infamous that we love, right? I would absolutely love more Ghost of Tsushima, and I would love more like Legends type things if they ever wanted to lean back into that. So I hope to continue to see this kind of thing, and
Totally.
I hope this Insomniac thing is either Spider-Man, or I hope it is some new iteration of Ratchet Deadlocked, because I would love
That'd
for
be
a
cool.
new Ratchet like co-op game.
Yeah,
That
I
would
mean,
make my life.
honestly, what now that we're a couple weeks out from it, like, one of my biggest disappointments with Rift Apart was how limited the arena stuff is. Like, there's
Mhm.
only like 15 challenges, and then that's it. I was like, I wish there was more, and like a Deadlocked would definitely answer that.
Oh yeah, I'd be all about that. Tim,
Mhm.
let's talk about story number 2. Blue Box Games. We know them well. We've been talking about them for a while. Of course, the developer of the upcoming game Abandoned. There's an update, right? The Abandoned saga seems to be over for now. A few things happened over the last couple of days, right? They put up their countdown for the PlayStation app that was supposed to drop to tease Abandoned. That was supposed to come out today. The counter hit 0 and nothing happened. The game didn't come out. And then on Twitter, Blue Box dropped a video with the game director Hassan, basically giving a statement talking about how the game is delayed until August, or the app is delayed, I should say, until August. The statement goes like this. Again, this is from Hassan from Blue Box on Twitter. Quote, "The last 2 weeks were really stressful for us. The team is very tired. We were hoping to release the app today, and I know that a lot of you have been looking forward to it. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. However, I have decided to delay the app until August. That is when the first trailer will also be released. We just want to give you a solid first impression of the game. Right now, the app isn't quite there yet. We just want to have it meet our own expectations first." End quote. Hassan Karaman goes on to discuss that there are still bugs in the app and explains that the localization isn't finished yet, before apologizing for the delay. And Tim, this has been such a saga.
Disaster. But like,
A
I don't think there's
disaster,
any other
yes.
word, man. Like, this is just so stupid that I just want it to be over. And like, you know what? Hopefully this just means we have at least until August. Hopefully we don't need to talk about this again until then. Like, first off, I'm gonna start with this. Don't be mean. Leave
Oh
these
yeah.
people alone. Period. That's just, it is what it is. Whatever's happening, leave them the fuck alone. Next off, what the fuck is going on? Don't do this. If you're not ready, don't make announcements like this. Sure, be transparent, come forth and like let people know what's going on. All of this stuff is just so poorly done. And like this, whatever they were planning, whatever they were trying to do, it got out of hand. And where we're at
Oh yeah.
now is just this like snowball of shit that has rolled down the mountain, and now we're just stuck here. And so, hold on, you're telling me that a trailer is going to drop with an app, but the app isn't ready. So there was a countdown, but when it ended, now it's delayed. Or, you know what, guys? Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just don't do that. Just release
Or
the
don't
trailer.
drop a count. Like
Just
the
release
fact that the
fucking
countdown
trailer.
hit 0, and it was when the countdown hit 0 that they released the video that was like, actually, this is delayed till August. I feel like that's such a messy and very bad thing. Like I was following along with the countdown. I woke up this morning. I was like, all right, time to download the PlayStation app, see what this thing's all about. And for it to be met with like a, hey, not coming out, disappointing, messy. And I think what's happening is this, right? Like they talk about the app being buggy, localization, all this stuff, right? My assumption is that the biggest reason why they're delaying this till August is because this got way out of hand. This got way bigger than they ever wanted it to be. And 99% of people that would have been downloading the app, 99% of people that are tuning into this thing are tuning into it with the idea of, all right, is this Kojima or not? And I think that for them probably became such a scary thing where at first they were leaning into it, right? When Abandoned was first announced on the PlayStation blog, and they got the comparisons to Kojima, right? And people were asking them about like, hey, is this a Kojima game or whatever, right? Like they leaned off of it hard, but then with the whole hey, the game's name starts with S, ends with L thing, they were leaning into it. You look at replies they were making on Twitter, they were leaning into it, and the fact that it's snowballed into this gigantic conspiracy that like got them thousands and thousands of followers on Twitter, multiple gigantic YouTube channels like making videos about them, like getting hundreds of thousands of views. For them, that probably turned from a oh, this is cheeky, oh, this is a fun way to get some notoriety, to then being a oh, we fucked up. Like we fucked up bad. We can't
Yeah.
lean into this. Like people are going to tear us apart. And it sucks. And like again, like you said, right? Don't be mean, right? Like don't harass developers, don't harass people. But this whole thing is just messy.
It's just messy. And yeah, it's like, you know, I think mistakes were made at some point because obviously they
Oh
did
yeah.
lead into this. There's no excusing the fact. There's no pretending that you weren't. Like, no, they were implying that they were somehow related, like Kojima was somehow, or Silent Hills or whatever. You were flying way too close to the sun there. Now just got caught up in all of it. And I don't really know how to get back. The genie is out of the bottle. It is what it is at this point. And them handling it this way is just bad. Like it had the app dropped and it was just a trailer for a game and Kojima had nothing to do with it. It would have been like, all right, cool. Like that, at least we can like button this up and put it away and hope the game is good. And that's it. And we can just discuss what Abandoned actually is. But now it's still just more talking about a bunch of conspiracy theory bullshit and talking about how poorly they're handling this marketing. And yeah, it's like, great. The any press is good press. That stopped being true a long time ago. We're in a new era where that is, with social media, that's just not the case. And that sure, they have thousands more followers than they originally had. Now they're going to have thousands more people being critical of every single decision they make because they're making bizarre as fuck decisions. And so now if they start making normal decisions, they're going to be looked at as crazy.
Yeah. And I think the hope for them is delaying it till August might get them some distance away from all this shit. And I hope that's the case for them, right? Like I hope they're able to escape the Kojima comparisons because I get how stressful that is when you're facing this person with like a gigantic audience and like everybody's trying to compare your thing to theirs when your thing is very your thing is very obviously not his thing, right? Like looking at Abandoned, the screenshots look basic, right? Like the game doesn't look like it's gonna shape up to be anything special, and that's like it's sad because like I want developers to succeed, I want things to be dope, But the promises being made in that PlayStation blog, where it's like it's gonna be 4K, 60 FPS, it's gonna be this horror game, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. Reading through it, I'm like, I've not heard of you. Like, I don't know if you guys can actually do the things that you're promising here. And so I hope they're able to clean it up. I hope they're able to get back to a place where it's just them putting out a game and focusing on it. I wonder what this does for the relationship with PlayStation, because PlayStation backed them, right, when they allowed them to go on the PlayStation blog and announce the game and all this stuff. I wonder if PlayStation now is like, nah, fuck that. You guys cause us stress. Like, look at all this bullshit you guys cause. Like, no, we're not going to back you on the blog anymore. You guys are on your own. I wonder if that ends up being the next thing. Like, it's rough, man, but the saga is over for now.
I think they'll be okay. I'm sure Sony PR is not pleased with this at all, nor should they be.
Yeah, I would. If I was Sony PR, I'd be pissed off.
Yeah, but I think that like there's an understanding, and also where we're at right now, like Sony needs these games. Like anything, like it's exclusive, right? What they're talking about here.
Yeah, it's exclusive. Yeah,
it's like I don't think that in the world we're in right now, they're gonna like, punish developers for things like this.
Oh yeah, but... and I don't think they'll like cyberpunk it, right? I don't think they're gonna unrelease the game or not let the game on their platform or anything like that. But I would be surprised if there is another PlayStation blog about Abandoned. I would think that from this point on, they're on their own in terms of marketing that game. I would be shocked.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It bums me out because it's just like, this should be cool. Kojima conspiracy theories should be a fun thing, and it should be frustrating. But that's what happens with these things, is at some point it inevitably turns frustrating because people have expectations of it. Goes from being a fun thing of what it could be to then people are like, this is what it has to be. And then you're kind of left with, well, it's not that thing. And then people are just like, no, but what if it is? And it's like, what it's not. And it just keeps going.
Do you think there's any chance Kojima sees all this going on and is like, I gotta stop doing this conspiracy shit. This is causing way more trouble than it's worth. Or do you think he's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm Kojima. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want.
Doesn't give a fuck. Seriously, he's just doing whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, man. When do you think we're gonna see Kojima's next game?
I don't know. I mean, I'm shocked we even saw him at the not Game Awards, but the Summer Game Fest kickoff thing with Death Stranding PS5. I was like, not necessarily something I expected to see. So, especially Kojima talking about it, it's like, oh man, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But the way he was talking about 9/11 and other things, I get the vibe that we're not getting a Kojima announcement this year.
Man, I want to know what he's up to. I want to know what he's up to. I know he's up there doing something crazy, and I can't wait to see it. Story number 3, Tim. Xbox Game Pass is built into Windows 11. I'm pulling from Samit Sarkar at Polygon. Windows 11, the next version of Microsoft's operating system, will offer a number of features targeted toward PC gamers, led by Xbox Game Pass directly within Windows' new Xbox app, Microsoft announced Thursday during its Windows 11 reveal event. Presenting Windows 11 as the best Windows ever for gaming, Sarah Bond, Xbox Corporate Vice President for Game Creator Experience and Ecosystem, appeared on Microsoft's live stream to announce that Xbox Game Pass will be built right into Windows 11. Microsoft has been testing this functionality for many months with a redesigned Xbox app for Windows 10, but clips of the Windows 11 version that Bond showed seem to indicate a deeper integration. The Xbox app will also offer Xbox Cloud Gaming for those who subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Cloud streaming is not included in the cheaper PC or console-only tiers of the service. The integration will allow people to, quote, play the highest fidelity games on all PCs, Bond said. Xbox Cloud Gaming is currently available on PC, but only through a web browser. Bond also said that Windows 11 will offer 2 other gaming-oriented features, the Direct Storage API and Auto HDR, both which debuted on Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. Windows 11 is scheduled to be released this holiday season. It'll be available as a free upgrade for Windows 10 users, as long as their PC meets the hardware specifications. Awesome stuff. It's really cool to see Xbox, again, doubling down on quality of life stuff for the audiences, no matter where the audience lives. This is really cool.
I fucking love this. I hope that it works as well as they're implying it's going to. Windows 11 is something I didn't expect a long time ago. They're like, Windows 10 is it. But it being a free upgrade for Windows 10 users, that's a great move there. Better Xbox integration, fantastic move. That's been necessary. The Auto HDR is something I'm extremely happy about. It's so such a minor inconvenience to have to go into the settings and turn it on or off depending on if you're playing a game. But just taking that away, and it just hopefully that just means it'll work better, because even now there's always weird glitches when you are shifting between HDR on and off. But I like them caring and putting emphasis on making sure that the Xbox experience on PC is as good as it is on a console. That is so key to the core tenets of what Xbox is trying to do with Game Pass and beyond, xCloud, all of that stuff. So this is just great, tightening that ecosystem. They've been building the foundation for years. This E3 showed they have the slate of games coming over the next couple of years. So great, more ways to play them, and hopefully more ways that are made to play them in fantastic fashion. Talking about wanting the same experience as Series X and Series S on a PC, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, right? Like we talk about all the time now that like Microsoft's whole strategy has been let's try to give the players options. Let's give people any option available to hop into the Xbox ecosystem and go from there. And again, like this is just strengthening that. Tim, for you, Halo Infinite is theoretically coming out this fall. Where are you going to play? Are you playing on PC or on your Xbox console?
A little bit of both, right? Like, because I can. I love that. I love that Xbox, more than anybody, has made it seamless to be able to just have your save, crossover, and just keep going. And I've had a great experience with that. There's been a couple good examples. Ubisoft, I think, has done a really good job as well of having that be a seamless experience. But yeah, I'm very excited to play on my ultra wide for a bit, and then pop over and play on TVs, play it wherever I want. Like it's exciting, you know. And I love that I've been reading the blogs about Halo Infinite and them talking about wanting to just give people the options. And like I'm excited to play a little bit with mouse and keyboard, a little bit with controller, kind of just play however I want in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Tim, you know what else is a seamless experience? Going over to patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where you can get the show ad free. But if you made it to this part of the show, that means that you didn't. And so here are some ads.
This podcast is brought to you by DoorDash. Did you forget that one thing at the store? Now you can get snacks, drinks, and household essentials in 30 minutes with DoorDash. Dinner? Check. Deodorant? Check. Morning pick-me-up from Dunkin'? Check, check, check. Everything you need anytime you want it with DoorDash. They want Chinese. You want some pizza, and everyone is craving froyo. There's something for everyone on DoorDash. DoorDash connects you with the restaurants you love right now and right to your door. And now you can get the grocery essentials you need delivered with DoorDash too. Get drinks, snacks, and household items delivered in under an hour. Ordering is easy. Open the DoorDash app, choose what you want from where you want, and your items will be left safely outside your door with the contactless delivery option. Of course, I'm well versed in DoorDash because I use it all the time. Of course, it's not even this. They have a thing called the Dash Pass where you can get delivery fees removed. You get a whole bunch of other benefits. I use that because we DoorDash at least once a week usually. Chinese, pizza, you name it. Sometimes the day ends and Jen and I just don't want to cook, and DoorDash is so simple to get what we want when we want it. With over 300,000 partners in the US, Puerto Rico, Australia, and now Canada, you can support your local go-tos or choose from your favorite national restaurants, I should say, like Popeyes, Chipotle, and Cheesecake Factory. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code GAMES2021. For our Canadian listeners, use the code GAMESCA. That's 25% off, up to a $10 value, and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code GAMES2021 in the US and GAMESCA in Canada. Don't forget, that's GAMES2021 or GAMESCA for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply. Our next sponsor, you might be asking, who is it, Greg? What is it going to be? It's Canva Pro. Of course, Canva Pro is the easy-to-use design platform that has everything you need to design like a pro. Whether you're a professional designer or just getting started, Canva Pro can help you boost your team's productivity and creativity. It's a quick, easy, and affordable way to design whatever you need. No matter what you're creating and sharing, Canva Pro has everything you need in one place, including a collection of over 75 million premium photos, videos, audio, and graphics. Plus, Canva Pro comes with time-saving tools. I thought it was life-saving tools. Let's not go too far. It's time-saving tools that simplify and speed up the creative process. You get all this and more in just one Canva Pro subscription. Of course, we've been using Canva Pro here for a while. Tim's been using it to make these little decks that we can show to people, and we're like, hey, why don't you work with Kinda Funny? And he goes in there and he's learned to design with it. Canva Pro is amazing, and there's no idea too big or too small when it comes to Canva Pro. So if you want to create something online, Canva Pro is a tool you need. Design like a pro with Canva Pro. Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial when you use our promo code. Just go to canva.me/KFGD to get your free 45-day extended trial. That's canva.me/KFGD. Canva.me/KFGD. And our final sponsor of the day, it's Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. It's time to join the resistance because Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for PlayStation 5 is here. The shadowy Shinra Corporation is draining the planet's life force for their own again, but all is not lost. The mercenary Cloud Strife teams with Tifa, Barret, and Aerith to take Shinra down. Whether they succeed depends on you. Of course, we're so excited for Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. The definitive edition of the award-winning Final Fantasy VII Remake has expanded graphical, gameplay, and system enhancements, and it brings Final Fantasy's visuals to the next level. It's got more realistic backgrounds, it's got better lighting, it's all around beautiful to look at. Hell, you know that Final Fantasy VII Remake was our game of the year. Now they've made it better. What's not to love? Integrate also gives you the ability to switch between graphics mode if you want 4K and performance mode if you prefer super smooth action with 60 frames per second. On top of it, Intergrade comes with the episode Intermission, a brand spanking new episode featuring Wu-Tang Ninja, Yuffie, as the main character. Play as Yuffie as she conspires with Avalanche HQ to steal the ultimate materia from the Shinra Electric Power Company. Play as new characters and enjoy expanded gameplay experience featuring multiple new combat additions. And if you've already bought Final Fantasy VII Remake for PS4, you can download a free PS5 enhancement for the PS5 console. Episode Intermission is available as a separate purchase after you upgrade. Buy Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for PlayStation 5 today. Go to sqex.link/remake-KFGD. That's sqex.link/remake-KFGD.
Gotta love those Wu-Tang Ninjas. Story number 4, 12 Minutes has revealed their official poster. This comes from a blog post over on their website. Kevin, I have a link you can pull up to show people what it looks like. Awesome. They write, as you might know, I'm a pretty big movie fan, and 12 Minutes has been inspired by the work of the masters that crystallized the psychological thriller genre. Hitchcock, Kubrick, and Fincher, to name a few. These creators have a way of wielding the visual language to tell stories on several different levels. With their movies, the composition and mise-en-scene have as important of a role in revealing the story and characters as the words that are coming out of the actors' mouths. But the story doesn't start at the opening credits, but well before that, with every other element related to the final picture. Once we realized the direction we wanted for this title, we focused our efforts on creating a marketing campaign that follows the footsteps of this genre and film in general. And now it's finally time to reveal something we've had in the works for quite some time. The extremely talented team at Motion helped bring to life a poster treatment for this project. Our goal is to make not only something that you'd be happy to see hanging on your wall, but hopefully is iconic enough to survive the test of time, clearly connects to the movie genre, and above all, fits with the themes and narrative of what this interactive thriller is about. Without further ado, you would like to unveil the official poster for 12 Minutes. And it looks really cool. It looks really cool. It's, if you're an audio listener, it's like a red and black poster. It's a guy walking out of this, spiral circular opening as like a vignette. Yeah, like casts a large shadow. It looks like a Hitchcock poster, basically.
Yeah, it is awesome. This is the exact opposite of Abandon and marketing working well. Like, I love this. There's so much love and care being put into it. There's the clear inspiration from classic movies and them doubling down on that and being like, yeah, that is the inspiration, and we're trying to do that in indie game form. Love it. They're really doing a great job. I am so excited for this. We're all excited for this, and I just think that they keep knocking it out of the park with every single update for the game. There's something cool that they're adding, and I really, really love the vibe that we're getting from this.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this thing. Like, I think you hit the nail on the head saying that it's the exact opposite of Abandon, which with every new reveal or every new piece of marketing material for this game, I actually get more and more excited for it. Seeing this pop up on the timeline, I was like, oh shit, 12 Minutes is about to come out. And oh shit, they're absolutely nailing what they want the tone of this thing to be. And I'm very excited to see, like, you know, they talk about their inspirations with classic movies and all this stuff, and to be able to have the the cast lineup be what it is with Daisy Ridley, James McAvoy, and have that movie poster there.
Oh, baby.
Oh,
Let's
Willem
go.
Dafoe. Yeah, like one, that's an all-star lineup. Two, it seems like if it feels like we're watching people make the game of their dreams, which is making me excited to see it, right? The fact that they're so excited to market it and talk about it and show it off.
I mean, dude, let's go back to when it was first revealed. The game looked good. Like that's where we're starting. Is the game itself looked good. All this marketing stuff and all the extra added actors and stuff, that's all just enhancing a game that already was exciting, right?
Oh yeah.
We're in a great place, man. August 19th, 2021. We are so close to this thing. Let's fucking go.
Seeing this poster was a reminder to me that we're apparently in the year of video game time loops. Between Returnal, between Deathloop. By the time we get to the end of the year, do you have any predictions on the game that's going to be the time loop game of the year?
Fuck. I mean, shit. Returnal set a high bar, right? But I think that Returnal also, because of its difficulty, kind of has a smaller audience overall. So I think that, I don't know. I think all three are doing different things. I think Deathloop has the biggest chance of not being utterly fantastic. And I think that I think it's going to be graded harsher than these other games, is what I mean to say. Like, people expect that to be a 9.5. So if it's lacking in certain ways, I can see people being like, oh, it's not what we expected it to be. Whereas like with 12 minutes and with Returnal proved itself already, it's like, I think all three are going to be very, very highly praised. I don't think there's necessarily going to be one time loop winner at the end.
Yeah. I'm super excited for both this and Deathloop, and coming off of Returnal too. Like I feel like I'm in the place where I am definitely not feeling fatigue with time loop stories. You know, like I'm kind of in a place where I'm like, dude, I'm ready to jump into like a bunch of different stories regarding time loops right now. Like, loop me up, man. I'm ready for it. I'm all in on it, and so I can't wait for these two games. We have one more news story for the Roper Report. Story number 5. Konami has announced a competitive murder mystery game called Crime Site. I'm pulling from Rebecca Valentine at at IGN. I'm so used to writing GameStreet.biz after Rebecca Valentine's name that like it trips me up whenever she comes up, and it's like, oh no, it's IGN.
That's so funny.
This is another one I have a trailer for, Kevin, if you want to pull it up as I'm reading through. Konami has announced a new werewolf-style game set in a futuristic London called Crime Site. It's coming to PC and currently has signups available for a closed beta test starting tomorrow. Crime Site takes place in London in 2075. That's the year 2075, where AI predictions of when and where crimes will happen have all but eradicated actual crime. A special AI dubbed Sherlock is developed to help avoid a future where the world falls into ruin. But an AI rival dubbed Moriarty stands to entangle all its efforts. The game divides players into teams without revealing their identities, where the Moriarty players must meet certain conditions to get away with murdering a target NPC, while the Sherlock players must deduce not only who the culprits are, but also who the victim of the crime will be in a multiplayer competitive social deduction game. Though it does not yet have a release date.
Multiplayer competitive social deduction game.
That's the new wave, man. That's new. That's Among Us right there.
It's Among Us, man. Yeah.
I'm all about it. Though it does not have a release date yet, signups are now available for a closed beta for Crime Site on its official website and will remain open through July 10th. The closed beta itself runs from June 25th through July 11th and will take place via Steam. Tim, I'm not gonna lie. I read the description. I read Rebecca Valentine's article, and I was like, okay, not what I want from Konami, but like this shit sounds kind of fire. Like I love social deduction games. I got very heavily into Clue at the beginning of this year, and so I was like, yo, I might actually try this out. Watch the trailer, and I was like, all right, this doesn't seem as exciting as I want it to be, but I might still try it out. Like I'm down for some social deduction with two AIs battling it out that are Sherlock themed for some reason.
I mean, it's kind of just exciting that Konami's making video games. Like there's at least a glimmer of hope that we might get some stuff from them. But yeah, it's interesting to see trends happen in games where it's like there's the one hit and then everybody does the, I'm going to try my hand at it and see what happens. And I'm a little shocked that we haven't seen more Among Us type clones popping up, or at least none in that like really hit in the mainstream the way we saw with Battle Royales or, asymmetrical multiplayer games and things like that in the last couple of years. But good on them. This seems weird as hell. Like I like the premise of the competing AIs is interesting enough. Seems like a fun, like a Japanese Minority Report.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. I'm all about it. I want to know more. The trailer kind of like dampened my excitement a bit, but I still want to try it out just for the fuck of it because I love the idea of it. Tim, when do you think Konami does anything with Metal Gear?
I don't know. I feel like there was a reason they were going to be at E3 this year,
Mhm.
and there was a reason they pulled out. I imagine there was a game that they wanted to show that they weren't ready to show. I got to imagine that was Metal Gear or Castlevania.
I mean,
it has to be one of the higher, or Silent Hills, but no, I don't think it's Silent Hills.
I mean, it could have been Crime Site. Based on what we got at E3 from a lot of the third-party publishers, it felt like folks were just gonna show up to E3 just to be at E3.
But so, they backed out though. If that was their plan, I think they would have committed to it and just done it, like everyone else did. You know what I mean? Them backing out, I think that it was a more substantial IP that they thought they had something.
I would hope so, man, because I want to see more from Metal Gear, and I'm in that conflicting place where it's hard to want more from Metal Gear from Konami without Kojima, knowing how Konami has treated Metal Gear since 2015 with Survive and the Pachinko machines and all the other things. But that IP is just so good that I would want them to either like give it to somebody, or like Perfect World they would license it to PlayStation, and PlayStation would give it to Bluepoint or Kojima Productions or somebody competent to work on it. But yeah, man, that IP is just is stuck in such a weird place, being under Konami, and Konami's just kind of sitting on it. And I'm like, I want more Metal Gear, man. Yeah, I want it. It hurts.
I'm with you.
But Tim, more Metal Gear is just so far away. If I want to know what's coming out to mom and pop shops today, where would I go?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, we got Mighty Aphid for Xbox One, Scarlet Nexus for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and PC, Mario Golf Super Rush for Switch, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 for Switch, Promisa for Switch, #1 Crosswords Bundle for Switch, Loop Index for Switch, Sweet Sugar Candy for Switch, Enigmatis, The Ghost of Maple Creek for Switch, Sunhaven for PC, and then IU Senki Gold, A New Conquest, is out today for PC. We got no new dates, we got no deals of the day, but we do have a gamer confession. Remember, you can go over to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where you can write in with your questions. You can avoid the ads. You can get the Kind of Funny Games Daily post show. But now, Greg introduced a new segment to the show this week titled Gamer Confession, where you write in and let us know what your gamer confessions are, and we judge you for it. Right now, I have one from Anonymous, who writes in and says, I'm 30 years old. Throughout my life at home, there has been, or let me read that again. I am 30 years old. Throughout my life at home, there has been a Game Boy Color, a GBA, DS, 3DS, Wii, and a Switch. Despite this, I've only ever finished one traditional Mario game, that being Super Mario Odyssey. It's not even the genre as I really enjoy platformers. Something about them just doesn't hook me beyond the first few worlds. Tim, you and I here at Kind of Funny are Mario fans 1 and 2. Debatable on which order that goes into. We'll figure out someday. Probably on a Twitch stream hosted by Snow Michael. How do you feel about this write-in from Anonymous?
I mean, I'm a little shocked, honestly, because it doesn't compute to me how you could beat and enjoy Mario Odyssey and then not really be grabbed by the other ones, because there's just a level of quality that, and especially if you like platformers, like the first few worlds of the games don't hook you. I don't understand. I just don't understand. The games are so good. If you don't like platformers, I get that, but yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, I would say Anonymous, try out the Galaxy games, because I definitely understand. I understand a few things, right? Like maybe you don't want to go back to 64 or Sunshine because old games are old, right? Like I get that, even though 64 in my heart still holds up, still one of the greatest games ever made. But I do understand how difficult it is to go back to old games. And I might also understand if you're not into maybe 2D platformers or Mario 2D platformers specifically, like. I don't get it fully because they're perfect, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Maybe that's not your jam, but if you loved and finished Odyssey, try going back to Mario Galaxy. You know, maybe the thing there might be motion controls. Who knows? But Mario Galaxy 2 for sure, I think, is one that you can probably get past. Even with the motion controls being a thing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I don't think so. But Anonymous, you know, I'm not gonna judge you too hard here. We all have our confessions here. We all have our secrets. You know, what if I said I'd never beat a Mario game? That'd be a lie, but it could have been true. Who knows? Who knows?
God.
Tim, folks can go over to kindafunny.com/you're wrong, where you can write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and on podcast services around the globe. Okay, well, that is very unrelated to the show, Frank B. And then let's see here. All right. Hi them writes into kindafunny.com/you're wrong and says, the abandoned teaser trailer from the PlayStation blog was not from the game, and the game still not shown according to the Blue Box Studio Twitter. I don't think that's true. Like maybe more people write in and correct me if I'm wrong about this. Like the screenshots and footage we've seen on the PlayStation blog, like those were supposedly from the game. Like those are them advertising the game there. I don't think that was them trying to promote the app. Unless like Blue Box is still trying to pull some shenanigans. I have no idea, but I don't think that's the case.
Man.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Tim. I'm right there with you. Of course, it's Friday. The week is over, but we have a whole new week coming up next week. Next week's hosts for Kinda Funny Games Daily go like this. On Monday, it's me and Tim. Tuesday is Greg and question marks. Wednesday is me and Andy. Thursday is Greg and Tim. And on Friday, it's me and Tim. We're back at it like a bad habit. If you're watching this live on Twitch, after this is Andy Cortez embarrassing himself in Mario Golf Super Rush. So stay tuned for that. Of course, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every week at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindafunnygames. So stick around for that. Otherwise, until next time, game daily.